Imagine a country where a day's wage barely buys a meal, where parents skip meals so children can eat. This is the reality pushing people into the street. People are not just upset about prices, they are desperate. Basic food, fuel, and medicine prices have soared because the Iranian currency, the real, has crashed to historic lows and inflation has climbed towards 50%. Ordinary families find it harder to feed their children or pay rent, while many small businesses have shut their doors in protest. What begins as economic protest in Tehran's bazaars has turned into nationwide unrest across multiple cities. Clashes with security forces have left several people dead and dozens wounded. As demonstrators demand more than price relief, they are openly criticizing the entire political system. Protesters have started chanting against the supreme leader and clerical rule, which signals a shift from economic anger to political rebellion. The chants are no longer "we want bread," but "we want dignity." That marks a dangerous point in this protest. Iran's leaders are warning foreign powers, especially the US, not to interfere, saying even a hint of intervention could bring chaos to the entire Middle East. At the same time, world powers are talking about supporting peaceful protesters and threatening consequences if Iran uses lethal force. The streets of Tehran have become a flashpoint between global powers, turning personal pain into geopolitical pressure. If protests keep growing and the economic crisis deepen, Iran could face internal fractures, security forces versus angry civilians, riots spreading to more cities, possible splits within the government and armed forces. A sustained confrontation could make Iran resemble past crisis states where everyday life breaks down. Imagine children unable to go to school, parents afraid to leave home. In past crises, Iran has shut down much of the internet to stop communication and control information, leaving families cut off and afraid. This tactic deepens fear, isolates communities, and increases panic. The crisis isn't contained within Iran. Iran's instability can spill into Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen through allied militias and political networks. A failing Iran could embolden sectarian tensions, weaken fragile governments, and even trigger refugee flows. If Iran feels concerned, it might disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, a vital choke point for global oil supply that will spike global energy prices overnight and hurt economies worldwide. A weakened Iran economy might rely more on its revolutionary guards and allied militias to maintain control. That could escalate proxy conflict in Yemen, Lebanon, and Iraq, drawing the region into a wider violence. Past protests in Iran, like 2022, eventually subsided. This time, the crisis is rooted in daily survival, not just political frustration. People are fighting not just for change, but for hope, for food on the table, for a future where their children are not poorer than their parents. When the fight is for basic existence, movements don't simply fade away. Imagine waking up knowing your salary can't pay for food, that every day is a struggle. That is now life in Iran.